The question that shattered my world when my husband, Mark, passed away. I thought the pain of losing him would be the hardest thing I'd ever face. I was wrong. The real pain began 2 weeks after his funeral. That morning I was sitting in our kitchen, trying to drink cold coffee and pretend that life was normal again. My teenage son, Ethan, sat across from me, his eyes full of confusion. After a long silence, he asked in a trembling voice, "Mom, was Dad really my father?" For a moment the world stopped. The mug slipped from my hand and shattered against the floor. My chest tightened and I couldn't find my breath. My own son doubting something so sacred. But when I looked into his eyes, I realized he wasn't guessing. He knew something, he had found something. That's when everything I had buried for years began to rise to the surface. Let me take you back to the beginning. Mark and I met in college. He wasn't the loud type, he was gentle, kind, and had that quiet confidence that made you feel safe. We fell in love young, got married, and built our life in a small Portland suburb. For years I believed we had it all: love, laughter, and dreams, but love doesn't always disappear loudly. Sometimes it fades like an echo, so quietly that you don't even notice when it's gone. After Ethan was born, Mark became distant. He worked long hours at his architecture firm, while I stayed home buried under diapers, dishes, and exhaustion. Our conversations turned short. Our smiles became polite. The connection between us cracked. Invisible at first, then deeper with every passing year. And then Daniel came into my life, the secret I buried. Daniel was my co-worker when I returned to work at a design studio. He was everything Mark wasn't: spontaneous, expressive, full of energy. He noticed me, really saw me in ways I had forgotten how to feel. It began innocently: shared jokes, coffee breaks, late night texts. But soon it became something more dangerous. One rainy evening when everyone else had gone home, Daniel offered to drop me off. We sat in his car, rain tapping on the windows, talking about life, dreams, and regrets. Then he leaned in and kissed me. It was soft, hesitant, but it crossed a line I could never uncross. I told myself it was a mistake. I told myself I could stop. But the truth is, lies have a way of multiplying. Months passed in stolen moments and quiet guilt. I kept telling myself I still loved Mark, that I just needed to find my way back to him. But deep down I knew I had already betrayed him. Then came the moment that changed everything. I found out I was pregnant. The timing blurred between two men, two truths. Mark was thrilled when I told him. I wanted to believe the baby was his. I needed to believe that. So I buried my secret deep within me and tried to build a perfect life. Years passed. Mark was a wonderful father. Ethan adored him. We lived as a happy family. At least on the surface, but happiness built on lies always trembles, waiting to fall apart. Then came Mark's illness, pancreatic cancer. Watching him fade was the hardest thing I'd ever done. On his last night, as I held his hand, he looked at me with soft, tired eyes and whispered, "I know and I forgive you." Those words broke me. He didn't accuse me, didn't ask questions. His forgiveness was silent, pure, and undeserved. After he passed, I couldn't stop wondering, how long had he known? How much had he understood? I thought I had buried my secret with him forever. But I was wrong, because secrets always find their way back. The truth that set us free. That morning when Ethan asked if Mark was really his father, I tried to deny it. Of course he was. I said too quickly, but Ethan shook his head, tears welling up. "Mom," he whispered, "I found a letter in Dad's drawer. It was addressed to you and to me. He said he forgave you and he hoped I would too." My world collapsed in that moment. The truth I'd hidden for years had been there all along. Mark had known everything, and even in death he was still protecting me. I couldn't lie anymore, so I told Ethan everything about Daniel. About the mistake, about the guilt that had haunted me for years. I thought he would hate me, that he would leave and never look back. But instead he cried. Not because of the truth, but because he realized that Mark had known and still loved him. That day changed us both. Ethan learned what true forgiveness really means. And I learned that love, real love, doesn't always come without pain. Sometimes it's the ability to forgive even when your heart is broken. Years have passed since then. Ethan is grown, now wiser than I ever was. We've rebuilt our relationship, this time on honesty and trust. Sometimes he asks me how Mark could have known and still loved us both. And I tell him because love isn't perfect. It's messy, it's painful, and sometimes it demands more strength than we think we have. If I've learned one thing, it's this: infidelity doesn't always end in hate. Sometimes it ends in forgiveness. The kind that tears you apart only to put you back together again. The day Ethan asked that question, I thought it would destroy us. But instead it saved us, because the truth, no matter how painful, will always set you free. And sometimes, that freedom is the only way to honor the love we once betrayed.